home of organic conversations. This is where you get to hear from various thought leaders across the organic movement. Today, I am super excited to be joined by Mr. Saheed Adams, who is the chairman of Association of Organic Agriculture Practices of Nigeria, the Lagos chapter. Is also the co-founder of Eweko Concept, an organization that is working to help adopt sustainable agriculture practices. So, Mr. Saheed, thank you very much for joining me in the podcast, and it's a pleasure to have you on.
All right. Thank you very much, Organic Guy, for having me. It's a pleasure being here as well.
Nice. So I usually like to, give an audience a little bit of perspective on, how a person who's in the podcast, how they got themselves into organic farming in the first place. So can you help us give us a little bit of concept, really, what was going through that you found yourself to start being involved in organic agriculture?
All right. Thank you very much, Organic Guy. I started the journey, I would say, when I was much younger, back in secondary school.
Yeah.
I went to a very popular secondary school in Lagos, Igbobi College. So while there, we were exposed to agriculture, and I took into it. And at least for the first, in junior secondary school, I was one of the best students in agriculture. And so it was more of my second nature, so to say, to actually do agriculture. But along the line, other interests came in, and I was also very passionate about mathematics because for me, I loved solving problems.
Yeah.
So it was natural for me again to move into the space of how will I call it, ICT then. So I went to secondary school, then moved on to the university where I studied mathematics and eventually computer science. For the first 12 to 13 years of my career, I was focused on ICT.
Yeah.
And along the line, I thought it was necessary for me to now pursue my other passion, which was agriculture. So I started out the journey again, the second phase, I will call it, by actually equipping myself with the knowledge. Because having worked in a corporate environment, I knew it was necessary to fill in skill gaps before you carry on task. So with that build, I now went to a remote area of Oyo State called Shaki. That's up north Oyo, Shaki. I spent close to about a month and a half there learning the intricacies, what it took to plant, all the challenges that were inherent. And then I was fortunate to see the different stages of growth of the crops while I was on this particular farm. And I came back home after that time. Now decided to look around me, what I had as resource, because one of the things I learned there was, making use of resources that are within your immediate environment, first of all. Yeah. So I had to sit down, look at what I had within my environment, the resources, the people, the land, and then I ventured into the practice. Of course, I never stopped learning. I still continued learning in the process. And again, because of my second nature, which was actually, solving problem, I discovered that there were a lot of challenges in organic farming in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I use the word in Nigeria because we did not at the time had an ecosystem that was supportive of organic agriculture. So I now made it a point to try to support the best way I can to be able to develop that ecosystem in such a way that it will benefit the smallholder farmers, the consumers, and also those in between the value chain as well. So I've been farming now for, let's say, about 6 years
Yeah.
since I left my first passion, ICT. But I
Yeah.
wouldn't say leave, but I kind of integrated agriculture into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been farming for almost continuously now for almost 6 years. Yeah.
Nice.
With interest in crop production for now.
Mm. Yeah, I
So
saw.
that's kind of like the journey so far.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting journey, and I saw on your company the Eweko concept that you
Yes.
started. It has a very um interesting meaning. Maybe you can explain to us what Eweko actually means in the local
Okay.
language.
All right. Great. Eweko actually generally means vegetation, lush vegetation.
Hmm.
It could also mean vegetables as well. But
This
generally,
is in which
the reason I
language?
came lush vegetation
Yeah, like which local language is this?
is Yoruba. Yes,
Yoruba. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yoruba.
Mm.
Yoruba. Yes. So that's the southwestern part of Nigeria where I come from.
Yeah.
So Eweko also means green
Mm.
or greens, which is associated with sustainability.
Yeah.
So the name Eweko concept literally translates to green ideas
Mm.
or green concept. Yes, that's just what it means.
Yeah.
So activities around ensuring sustainability is the core of the organization, of course, which also includes farming as well.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. The other part of the work that you're involved in, you're the chairman of the Lagos chapter of Association of Organic Agriculture Practitioners of Nigeria. So
Yes.
maybe you can give us an overview of you guys, as in some of the activities that you guys are involved in.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah.
You recollect I mentioned, having an ecosystem.
Mm.
What the association does is try to facilitate, um, we're engaged in different activities that sustain the growth
Yeah.
of the ecosystem. When I talk about the ecosystem, I talk about the value chain, the different value chains, first of
Yeah.
all, and then the actors that play in these value chains. We have research institutions,
Mm.
we have farmers, we have input providers,
Yeah.
we have service providers. We also try to also imbibe or involve the government
Mm.
in as part of the association as well, because we believe with the interest in organic agriculture, you have to have all these players together working harmoniously.
Yeah.
As organic itself. That's the tenet of organic itself. You
Yeah.
have to collaborate.
Yeah.
Have a biodiverse system that works together.
Yeah.
So part of our activities, or essentially, our activities are divided into about 6 thematic areas. We have the capacity building, we have the marketing,
Yeah.
we have the research, we also have the certification as well.
Yeah.
And then we have the production and processing thematic areas. So it is within these different thematic areas that we now broaden the scope of our activities. Like, for instance, now in the area of certification,
Yeah.
that's where we have committees that have been formed to handle things like PGS certification,
Yeah.
farm audits, creating a framework that is both national and also grassroots as well.
Yeah.
So the association is saddled with this responsibility.
Mm.
The association generally as well also liaises with international organizations, seeking support, working on projects that will ensure that the ecosystem within Nigeria for
Yeah.
organic agriculture is built.
Mm.
Of course, for all of these things to work properly, you have to break it down into components.
Yeah.
There's the national body, and then there are also the state chapter levels as well. At the state chapter, you have the state chapter involving or being involved directly with the actors within those states. So, for instance, now in Lagos, we have farmers that are spread across the different local government areas.
Yeah.
We also have consumers, wholesalers, and also retailers that are also spread in these different locations as well. So the responsibility of the state chapter is to ensure that at that level there is a lot of collaboration in terms of production, in terms of marketing,
Yeah.
in terms of also quality assurance systems as well, working with the framework that has been set at the national level. So you have this cascade, at the local government level, you move to the at the community level, you move into the local government level. From the local government level, you move into the state level. From the state level, you move into the regional or national level. So that's how the administration, so to say, has been broken down for ease of communication and implementation of activities. So for the things that we are currently doing now, we are working on putting together what we call a PGS group based on the location of the farms primarily, and then trying to bring on board the different actors within the group for this particular areas. So, for instance, now in a location called Ekwe, that's a um, southeastern part of Lagos.
Yeah.
We have farmers that grow vegetables. We also have those that do livestock. So those form a group.
Yeah.
We are now integrating consumers or retailers into the system as well, because of course, with the PGS system is not just about the farmers. It is also about the consumers as well. So trying to build a group as pilot to see how we can actually work together to build a PGS framework that is peculiar to that community.
Yeah.
You would agree with me, PGS systems in one locality can be different from PGS system within another locality because of the peculiarity of their areas as well.
Yeah.
And even culture as well.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, I like the fact that you guys have gone a step further and sort of decentralized some of the activities that you're doing. And that's actually the philosophy behind organic. So, for example, if you look an organic farmer from Africa, let's say from Kenya, and an organic farmer in North America in the United States, both do practice similar principles as, let's say, crop rotation, but how they practice those crop rotations is very different. But the underlying principle is the same, right? And the fact that you guys have also decentralized your powers, I mean, given different states, they can be able to do their thing, similar concepts, similar principles, but be able to do their own thing, given the fact that taking into consideration the ecological factors and all the resources that are available. That is, I think for me, that's very, very efficient on how you guys are able to do that, and also gives more power to the farmers to see actually what we are implementing is actually working, right? And that's in the end what you want to see. You mentioned a little bit earlier about working with stakeholders. You're talking about farmers, policymakers, and all these kind of people. Are there some of the things you've seen as a result of working with them, such as some specialty shops maybe popping up, or more farmers wanting to be involved in organic, sustainable farming systems, such a kind of things? Have you been able to witness such a kind of movements, positive impacts rather, since working with these different kind of stakeholders?
As a matter of fact, yes, we have. We have, and it's quite interesting when you now begin to work with people that before now, are working in silos, and when they come together, they now see the opportunities that exist. Like for instance, now we have an organic input provider within Equaxis, who is also part of the association. So with being part of the association and working in connection with him, he already has an established market. Within the group, of organic farmers. So for him, that is business,
Yeah.
business in a good way. And then again, we have consumers also within this association. We're able to get information on what they want, the kind of produce that they would like, chicken, vegetables,
Yeah.
their choice, what they would like. So we're able to do that, working with the stakeholders in terms of government. And as you know, it's always difficult.
Yeah.
But within Lagos State government, we have extension agents that are part of the association. So they carry on the message on
Yeah.
organic agriculture to their superiors. And from time to time, we've been having conversation around how to improve access,
Yeah.
because that's also a big challenge. How
Mm.
to improve access to the organic food, and also create a system where we can also have organic inputs readily available. So we are constantly engaging those stakeholders as best as we can. But I will not lie to you, it has
Mm.
not been very easy. But
Yeah.
it's a journey that I know will lead into something very, very positive for the state as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's never easy. Um, yeah, I can, myself, I've also been involved in this kind of steps. For example, in Kenya, we have always wanted to have a policy. I mean, we take it to the people, they say, yeah, we're looking at it, but 10 years later,
Mhm.
we had, I mean, you can say we have made some strides in fact, like in terms of popularizing organic, so people are still starting to talk about it, but in terms of
Yeah,
policy, nothing has been able to be made up yet. So maybe
effective. So,
you can also give us an update, like what is the status of organic in Nigeria? Like, is there a policy, for example, that guides organic, or is still an informal sector where people are interested in organic sort of come together? Is there like an underlying legislation that guides organic?
at the moment, no.
Mm.
What the national body is trying to do is actually push some bills, recommendation to the legislature on the importance of organic farming, and also by extension
Yeah.
regulations that can come into streamlining who organic farmers are, what organic inputs are, and things like that.
Yeah.
That is a continuous conversation
Yeah.
with the national government. We have the national body taking on this stride. In terms of policy, I can see in some of the policy formulations by the government the encouragement of
Mm.
the use of organic inputs. But then, like for instance, there's a policy that insists that, okay, for any of the major government projects, there should be an infusion of organic fertilizers,
Yeah.
but not made compulsory, but recommended.
Yeah.
Well, at least that's a good starting point,
True.
I
True.
would say. So again, there's a current bill, or I think currently, that has been passed to the House for consideration.
Yeah.
At this point in time, I don't know how far that has gone, but I'm aware that such is being put in place.
Mm.
And one thing I like to say, to be very, very sincere, policies most of the times are driven by movements,
Mm.
are driven by the call by the people that they want the solution.
Yeah.
And we are still struggling um, in terms of advocacy, you
Mm.
know, getting the message across to even the consumers,
Yeah.
that, okay, well, this is something that you need to fight for. This is something that you need to request for. So
Yeah.
once that movement now grows, the government will not have any choice but to look in that direction
Mm.
if they are not prioritizing that now. So what we have decided to do is, take a step back and begin to sensitize the consumers, the polity that, okay, well,
Yeah.
healthy living is essential.
Yeah.
So from that angle, you need to be requesting for, or at the very least, have a choice of organic food. If you want to take organic food, it should be readily available for you.
Yeah.
If you now choose not to, that's another conversation. That's another conversation. But that choice has to be made available and sacrosanct to you.
Yeah.
Because if you have decided to make that choice to go into organic, you should be able to have a quality system that will also guarantee your access to that kind of food as well. It's a complex situation, but one that we are trying our best to try to address at all levels, state
Yeah.
level, national, and also even at the grassroots itself.
Mm. So you mentioned a little bit earlier about you guys trying to implement PGS system. So
Yes.
in terms of certification, how does it work? So are there like private entities that try to certify farmers? And so, for example, from a consumer perspective, how do they know that a certain product is organic? Is there like a mark that a consumer can look at, like a local certification mark that a consumer wants to buy organic products can look at and say, hey, yeah, this product's actually organic?
Yes, in fact, that's one of the core activities of the association, and that is to actually, provide some level of quality assurance to the consumers that members of this association produce either naturally or organically.
Yeah.
So there is a label for PGS certification that is awarded to farmers or farmer groups that have met the standards
Yeah.
as defined in the national standard. We have the association standard that has been drawn from IFOAM.
Yeah.
So the standards also serve as a standard, of course, with the local content also added, serves as the standard that we follow within the association. And our members advise also follow the standards. So it is based on the standards that certification is being done.
Yeah.
And drilling down based on the locality as well. So that's why it's very it's very important for us to have at the group level what we call farmers pledge. So in that farmers pledge, there are groups of there are rules, and there are rules, penalties, and things like that that are defined within the farmers pledge that a farmer or each farmer has to sign that they are going to abide with. And this is drawn again from the general standard as well. So, and the level of certification is such that at the group level, once they do the participatory certification, the state level comes in to audit, unannounced, audit any of these farms, and give a report back to the national. And the national can come to any of the audited or any of the certified groups within the state unannounced to verify that, okay, well, and they choose the farms randomly.
Yeah.
To verify that, okay, truly, yes, going by the report submitted by the state level, that, okay, yes, truly, this sample farms have met with the requirement as so set at the national level.
Yeah.
So that's the level of, certification we have. And the fact that we intend to integrate the consumers in the PGS certification as well, at least at the group level, it now becomes an automatic assurance for them.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It now becomes an automatic assurance for them being part of that process of certification, and also being part of the setting of the rules as well. Yeah. So the customers can decide, okay, well, this is how we want a particular type of crop to be grown based on our own peculiarities in the state or in this local government.
Yeah.
So we all come together and look through it and say, okay, well, this is doable, this is not doable based on the standards, and then we agree that this is the local law that we are going to be taking on as our own law. But of course, as I mentioned, it must still be within the framework of the national the national standards
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So that's what we are working on. It's not completed yet, but that's where we see ourselves in
That's the
couple of
goal.
months from now.
You touched about them. I think the most important people, organic farmers. Yeah, how, like, when you are talking with them, for example, you are visiting them for certification, or you're sending them extension workers to sort of support them in what they're doing. How is their energy? How are you reading their energy? Are they sort of enthusiastic about organic, or are other farmers, for example, enthusiastic to join such a kind of a PGS system? What is
Okay.
their feel? Are they seeing it as a burden? These are some of the things that we have to do. What is their energy? How do you feel their energy from them?
All right. Thank you very much for the question. First of all, organic production itself is about passion. First of all,
Yeah.
yes, you want to feel a need, and once you have that desire,
Yeah.
you would want to seek knowledge. You would want to ensure that your produce is as what it's supposed to be. So we have those that came into organic agriculture consciously,
Yeah.
having that energy level. And it's that energy level that has sustained them till date. Because for now, the way we are practicing organic agriculture is not profitable for us because the ecosystem is not, it is not rife enough.
Yeah.
The market is not matured enough.
Yeah.
So you have these groups of farmers that are going all out, putting in all their energy because it is a mission for them to ensure that they provide healthy food. And for those kind of farmers, there's a lot of good energy and good vibes from them.
Yeah.
And we try to draft them into committees, to also take advantage of that drive in building that ecosystem.
Yeah.
So we have quite a number of them in production committee, in marketing committee, things like that, helping build that ecosystem. And then on the other hand, we have the conventional farmers, who of course are in the majority.
Yeah.
We have some of them, they really do understand what organic agriculture is about.
Yeah.
Some of them desire to practice organic agriculture,
Yeah.
but because of the profitability, attached to it, and the fact that quite a number of them don't have that patience.
Yeah.
So they just want to come in, make their money, and continue to make their money. Organic requires a lot of patience before you
True.
can begin to reap the benefits. So quite a number of them, despite their interest in organic farming, are more in tune to conventional because conventional gives them instant result,
Yeah.
which is actually short-lived.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is actually short-lived. They are aware. So we are working with these groups of farmers as well,
Yeah.
trying to first of all demonstrate to them that organic farming can be profitable.
Yeah.
So that's why we are bent on creating that ecosystem, first of all, that will allow easy integration of other farmers as well. And we have also designed in the certification process a way for farmers to migrate from where they currently are and then slowly but gradually into organic certification. What do I mean by that? So if you have a natural farmer, all right,
Yeah. Yeah.
that is not applying agrochemicals, but he is still or she is still yet to conform with the principles of organic agriculture.
Yeah.
We want to design a label that certifies our farm as such, and then give a kind of a reward system
Yeah.
that allows them to migrate into that level of now being, fully or substantially organic.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, their market, their produce will be sold in the market, but not as organic.
Yeah.
but as maybe a label that says, okay, this is natural.
Yeah.
So we are trying to create that system that encourages the easy movement of these different types of farmers into the system, because truly you need the critical mass to really be able to make this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very much true. It's never easy trying to build up a market from scratch. I mean, you really need
Yes.
to have a lot of people who are passionate about it and understands
Exactly.
what is the vision, where actually we are going for it to be able to
Mhm.
sustain into the long run. Also, on the other
Yes.
side of important actors, we also have consumers. What is
Yes.
their feel around? Because back in Kenya right now, the notion, at least we try to build, is that we have a younger generation who are interested into healthy eating. For example, there's a growing middle class of people who are interested about organic, or who have the capacity to pay for organic, all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So back in Nigeria, how is the market also shaping up? Is it similar circumstances, or what are some of the differences do you see?
Okay. I will zoom in on Lagos.
Mm.
Lagos is a metropolitan, at the same time a cosmopolitan state. So
Mm.
you have different people from different nationality and ethnicity living in Lagos, and quite a number of them are actually middle class,
Yeah.
especially in certain areas, and are very aware of healthy living and
Yeah.
healthy eating. Fortunately for us, we don't have problem accessing those consumers. The challenge we have,
Mm.
however, is feeling the need of these consumers in terms of access, easy
Mm.
access to organic
Products.
food.
Mm.
So what we try to do is um, draw on that target market,
Yeah.
um, focusing on them and also trying to educate them further that, okay, well, this is what the association is about, and this is what we can do for you in terms of access to food,
Mm.
organic food, yeah, to
Yeah.
be precise. So uh, we still, yes, the quite a number of them are aware, but we still need to push for that,
Mm.
to broaden to broaden that market size.
Yeah.
We have still not reached enough. If I can just put a figure to it, I would say we are only talking to about maybe 3 to 4%
Mm.
of those kind of consumers.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there are much more of them out there. The institutions, the hospitals,
Yeah.
the wellness practitioners. We have them. We have the wellness practitioners now in our midst.
Yeah.
So just I think a couple of days ago, weeks ago, we concluded that we were part of a webinar, a wellness webinar that
Yeah.
lasted for I think about a week.
Mm.
So we were invited to also talk about organic agriculture.
Yeah.
And if you see the questions that were asked, the energy that
Mm.
was in the room, people requesting for, okay, how do we now get this? Where can we get this? Of course, not minding the price,
Yeah.
so to say. But even with the price, we still try to be conservative. What do I mean by that? We want to reach um, more markets.
Yeah.
We don't want prices to be a barrier.
Yeah.
You have some people that are genuinely interested in organic produce, but because of the price,
Mm.
quite a number of them, just step back
Yeah.
and make do with what they have. So we are very aware of that and trying to create some kind of balance
Mm.
where price will not be too much of an issue or a barrier to
Yeah.
them accessing the organic food. So generally, in terms of the energy from the consumer side, yes, is more.
Yeah.
It's impressive, but we still are not stopping at that. We want to, get to more consumers and drive that movement.
Mm.
Because I believe, my team and I believe that it is when the consumers make so much noise
Yeah.
that the policymakers now begin to listen. That, okay, yes, these people are agitating for this. So let's put policies in place. Let's put infrastructure and support in place to allow them access what they want, at least even if it is as a matter of choice.
Yeah.
Because all of these things still boils down to, okay, well, yes, I'm educated enough to understand what organic is, but do I really care about it? Do I really want to? So it still boils down to choice.
Yeah.
But that access, we want to create it.
Yeah, true. I definitely agree. A consumer has a really, really huge role to play. For example, if you go to a supermarket, you pick an organic product, that is actually a signal you're sending to organic farmers. Hey, your products are actually needed in the marketplace. So
Exactly.
can you produce more of this? So maybe
Exactly.
then the farmers can say, hey, yeah, we see a market here, so we can produce the product. And that's how you form a broader correlation of farmers who are producing more, and then all that cycle continues, and then you have now an oasis of people who are really consuming organic. So I think that is
Yeah.
you. I think you definitely are on the right path from
Thank
that
you.
angle. Yeah. So I'm trying to see here as an investor, for example, as a person who wants to, has an interest to sort of come into Nigeria and invest his money or her money into organic farming. Where do you see opportunities that this person may want to put their money on?
Okay. Um, the market's linkages. What do I mean by that? Um, right now, as we know,
Yeah.
the production and the supplies are not matched at all. Um, you have the demand actually being more than the supply.
Yeah.
But then, even with the little supply that is coming up, it's not well channeled. So, for such an investor, I would advise that he focuses on creating an infrastructure that allows the connect between these farmers and the the buyers. Like for instance, maybe having a food hub in the city, investing in a food hub in the city that allows the farmers, bring their produce, sell their produce,
Yeah.
or he takes the produce, stores or creates an infrastructure that allows for post-harvest handling.
Yeah.
And then the consumers comes knowing that, okay, this is almost a one-stop shop for organic products,
Yeah.
food, cosmetics, um, you know, anything that has to do with organic.
Yeah.
So more like creating a hub.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I see.
that would be a perfect thing. That's why I say, okay, well, focusing on the market linkage. The association, we want to facilitate something like that, but we cannot build something like that, at least not for now. So if investors are coming in,
Yeah.
just creating that system that allows those linkages.
Nice. Yeah.
This in turn will now um, encourage capacity building of the farmers to be able to meet the demand and with the quality specification, because yes, organic is organic, but then again, there are still quality requirements as well.
Yeah.
In terms of size, in terms of appearance, and things like that.
Yeah.
It's still a requirement when you are speaking with consumers or when you're talking to supermarkets as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
definitely.
I would see that area. Yeah.
Definitely looks like there's a good opportunity there to for someone to sort of invest and try to see what kind of returns that they can be able to get from it. So as we finish up this particular conversation, maybe you have last message maybe to different stakeholders from the organic movement from your own perspective. What you have like a message that you always want to send to different stakeholders?
Okay. In Nigeria.
Yeah, Nigeria and across the world.
Okay. All right. Organic farming or organic agriculture generally for me is a way of life, and of course the business element is one of the things that makes it sustainable. The business element being the social a social venture, not a capitalist in nature. A social venture that actually encourages building um, ecosystem industry, and as the trend is now in the whole world,
Yeah.
you see a lot of people tending towards organic food,
Yeah.
organic cosmetics,
Mm.
even organic wares.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I haven't realized the benefits of having that. So I would say it's a journey, especially for those of us in Africa.
Mm.
We have the potential to actually feed the world,
Yeah.
and we have the potential to feed the world good food.
Yeah.
I will add to that. Yes,
Mm.
we have that enormous potential. So, um, this is an opportunity for us to come together as Africans,
Yeah.
as Kenyans, Nigerians in our different localities, and also to foster development at the community level,
Yeah.
looking at the big picture,
Mm.
but fostering development at the community level, at the grassroots level. So I call on the consumers, because for me, I believe consumers is actually the push.
Yeah.
That's where the push starts from.
Yeah.
For the consumers to support the farmers in growing organic,
Yeah.
for the government to provide policies, infrastructures that actually encourages the growth of the organic industry,
Yeah.
and investors as well, to really not all the time focus on the bottom line, but also the social impact
Mm.
that their investment can have on the communities, different communities, and the environment as well.
Yeah.
And this very important component that oftentimes is left out is research and development.
Mm.
There's a serious disconnect between researchers and what is happening on the field. I know that for sure in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Um, for we need that synergy. Organic agriculture is knowledge intense.
Mm.
An average organic farmer is a researcher. That's because you need to find out, okay, what works well, what doesn't work well, what
Yeah.
kind of environment you have, what kind of insects you have within your environment, and all of those things that
Mm.
you know it can be energy sapping.
Yeah. That's true.
So if we have support systems in terms of good access to knowledge,
Mm.
that has been verified by different research, then we can focus more on production rather than research as farmers.
Yeah.
So we really, I will be calling on the research and development actors to really connect. There are several researches that have been done, but quite a number of these researches are not connected to realities or our realities as farmers.
Mm.
So I will encourage them to work with us more
Yeah.
to be able to provide solutions for us,
Yeah.
innovative solutions. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my message for them.
Yeah. I think that's a powerful message. Or for us, in fact, to move forward, we have to create that synergy, as well as partnership that with people, like-minded individuals, people who we think we share similar values, so that we can also make huge progress and huge strides forward. So I think that's
Yeah,
that's a message that is very well taken. So
yeah. Thank
yeah,
you.
I'd like to thank you very much for creating this time, and then for sharing with us your insights, such a deep knowledge, and insights about the organic sector. An overview, really. I mean, we couldn't touch everything, but this gives us
Yes.
an overview of at least what's happening there. And then so I mean, someone who listens to this conversation will have a better understanding than before they listen to this conversation. So I think they will find it to be very, very valuable information. So again, thank you very much for joining me in the podcast.
Yeah, thank you very much again, Guy. It's also been a pleasure,
Mm.
having to have this conversation with you. And I think it's very important that this conversation keeps on going.
Yeah.
From time to time, we need to speak with each other
Mm.
on, developments across board, and also learn from each other as well. thank you very much for this opportunity, and I'm looking to working with you at some point as well.
Definitely, definitely. Can't wait.
All right. Thank you.